So I heard the other day that the government have scrapped T-levels, and if you don't know what they were basically the equivalent of A-levels that they introduced only about 4 years ago, something like that, and that was for anyone who later in school life was looking to do like a placement or something in like catering or in a trade or something along those lines, and it would give you like a work placement. It's basically like an introduction to apprenticeships and things like that, rather if you didn't want to go down the academic route or university. Now, when I was at school, that was pretty much the only option. We were sort of funneled into filling out UCAS forms and almost being forced to go to university, and there didn't really feel like much other option unless you left school early. I didn't. I waited and did my A-levels. I got uni placements because I thought that's what we were supposed to do, but didn't really want to do that, and eventually sort of decided to give that up. I gave up the placements and went to find an apprenticeship instead. But I felt very out of place doing so. I felt like everything was angled towards go to uni, and I feel like anyone who wanted to do anything else or anything along the lines of apprenticeships or trade placements or anything along those lines was almost made to feel a bit like it was like a last option, a last resort. And I feel like this is another one of those as well, like cancelling it because they don't get the uptake. For a start, I never liked the fact they called them T-levels. It made it just seem, again, just like last resort, as if it's something, again, that people who couldn't go to uni just had to go and do something like that instead. I feel like I don't know why it bugs me. I feel like they need to introduce an option earlier in school and get this information earlier into school to younger kids, because I feel like a lot of kids know that they don't necessarily want to go to uni, know that they're pretty good practically and would feel like they would actually add some value to an industry like that, but there is just no option. There's nothing to do, no sort of way of getting into that until you sort of get to the end of school life, and then perhaps you have to find your own way, and by then, like you said, you sort of normally got caught up in the uni net, and that's it. Everyone just goes there, and a lot of people end up wasting their time and money, certainly now. So yeah, I feel like this I don't know, it bothers me, but I feel like it's something that now needs to be met a lot earlier in school, where people are now getting an option with an actual choice and an actual sort of set of useful information about being able to get into an industry like this, whatever it may be, whatever trade it may be, or catering or anything along those lines, but something that's more practical rather than just being forced down that avenue of, you know, go to uni and then see what you do afterwards. People may want to get into that at 16 or 18 and actually start earning money and get into a good industry. There's so many good industries out there, and we are crying out for good people. Like, I can't see, if it carries on like this, it's going to be years down the line. We don't have enough good people out there, don't have tradespeople or anything like that, and if it carries on like this, it's going to get less and less, and there's going to be a real issue moving forward with regards to good people out there. And I dread to think what's going to happen years to come. Hopefully I'll be retired and out of it along at that point, but it is a bit of a concern. So I feel like these things need to be addressed sooner now, and I feel like starting it at school level at quite a young age, where they actually have these options introduced to them and the information given to them about running a business or about working for a company, but just along those trade lines, and having some experience in that, either work experience but at a slightly earlier age, or just anything, any sort of education along those lines, rather than, again, just waiting to the last minute and then it being like, well, now it's your problem, you've got to go and find something. I'd also be quite keen to know how anyone got into their trades and or anything like that as well, how they started. Because again, I was just at the cusp of basically going to uni, and then I decided against it and managed to find an apprenticeship, which was lucky, I suppose, but it felt very odd one out at the time, as no one else was doing that. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how anyone else got into their trades, whether it was for a parent, whether it was they went to uni and then decided against it afterwards, or did something similar to myself. So yeah, perhaps if you could let us know as well, that'd be interesting, because it'd be good to get a gauge of where people got into their trades and how, because like I said, I feel like this might be a big problem moving forward now.